Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hello, welcome to another quick shot review. As ever, I am your host Luke, and you are the Cheap Shot Nation. This is your weekly movie review podcast, and it's also available on YouTube as well. The film we're going to be talking about today, I actually got a preview of at least 3 weeks previous to when I'm recording this. It is a Searchlight Pictures film by Taika Waititi, and it is called Next Goal Wins, and it's based on the notoriously bad football team who lost 31-0 to the Socceroos, otherwise known as the Australian national football team. It's the American Samoa football team in the World Cup qualifiers for 2014. Also of interest, if you're into your footballing sport, this forced FIFA to have the extra preliminary rounds for such teams as American Samoa to make it a bit fairer and not shove them straight in the groups with the big teams, the big countries down the line. It tells that story. It tells the story of a Maverick coach who is brought in to help the team get that all elusive goal. And that's all they want, is just one goal. They don't want to win. They're not bothered about winning. They just want a goal. And that's beautiful. I love it. It reminds me a lot of Cool Runnings and that sort of style. All they want to do is go to the Olympics and compete in a sport. And this is no different, except they've got a specific sport. There's no sort of, oh, you can enter this, you can enter that. It's a really heartfelt film. I really enjoyed it. I laughed out loud a lot of the time as well, because it's done, like I say, in that same sort of vein as Cool Runnings, Small Island. You'll never get there, and they do. And that's what's great about it. And it's recently been released in UK cinemas as a wide release, and it's great. So I would suggest you go and watch it. Before I go into more details about it, it does star Michael Fassbender, David Fane, Kamana, who plays Jaya, who has a huge role in this film. And without it being forced down your throat, they are a transgender football player, and back in even as recent as 2014, that is huge, and this team accepts that Jaya is transgender, and making the transfer over to the female sex from being male, which is not easy for her, obviously, because she's on lots of different hormones and things like that. Does star Oscar Knightley as well as Tavita, and they are your sort of big names in this. It also has Elizabeth Moss in it, playing Gail, the estranged wife of Michael Fassbender's Thomas. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And like I say, it is based loosely on history, to the point where the team did lose 31-0 to Australia, and they still carried on. It took them a long time to get that professional status in a sea full of sharks, so to speak. and it was just a really enjoyable film. It's the perseverance of the human spirit. They come together as a team after having a little bit of a fracas in, within the team, and the coach doesn't get on with, Thomas Rongan, sorry, doesn't get on with the some of the team because of their differences, and that sort of becomes clear further down the line, and they sort of come together, and he starts to realise that this small island, they're not just professional, semi-professional football players playing for the national football team. They all have two jobs. They might be going to school, etc., etc., and it's just it brings it to heart. It brings it to the forefront that some football players, they don't get millions of pounds a week, but rather they just do it for the love of playing for their country, and like I say, at international level as well, not just uh, not just at local level, but at national level, playing for the country. Michael Fassbender's performance is, it's commendable in a sea of what I would call sort of amateur actors. Um, some of the scenes were actually done by the players themselves. He brings in um, he brings in Oscar Kightly as Tavita as the assistant coach who was previously coaching. So obviously the players knew who that was, and all the time you've got sort of like these Australian dignitaries who used to play for the national team in that 31-0 drubbing of them. Uh, all that time you've got them sort of going, yeah, you're rubbish. A bit like the Swiss team in Cool Runnings. Again, it has that sort of theme running through it. Mighty Ducks, Cool Runnings, those kind of films, and I love those kind of films. Incidentally, being a Searchlight picture, it most likely will be on the same streaming service as those films if you so happen to have a subscription to it. The film is great, and it's one that you can take your kids to. It's not just Wonka for the Christmas season; it's Next Goal Wins as well. And I think this is going to get a cult following down the line in years to come, much like Cool Runnings did. Um, with it's not got favourable reviews from critics, but it's a crap what critics think. I mean, I'm sitting here being a critic, but I'm saying to you, if you want to go and see the film, any film, even if I don't like it, go and see it. Because if you're a film fan, that's what you should do. If you want to see a film, it's a film. That's the way it is. I just go because things are on, and I don't sometimes don't like them. I go in expecting too much, and I didn't go in expecting too much from this one because I didn't know what it was. So when it came up on screen and it said Next Goal Wins, I'm like, oh cool, it's a film about football. This could go one of two ways, and fortunately it went the good way, and I've done nothing but big this film up to family, friends, and say, look, it's out in cinemas now. Go and watch it because it's absolutely brilliant. It's like I say, it does take a few liberties. It really does. But like I say, I did get the screen unseen, and that sort of helped with my expectations of this film. So my final review is absolutely go and watch this film. It is fantastic from start to finish, and it has a few missteps, but for me, it was fantastic from start to finish. And that's my basic review of Next Goal Wins. Definitely take a punt on it over Christmas. Although I think this is going to be released a bit after Christmas, I would say. Maybe around, actually, it might be released around Christmas. But yeah, it's definitely worth um, a shot in the dark if you've already seen films like Wonka, for example. And on that note, I will leave you there. Thank you very much for listening to my rambles, and I will talk to you next time. Thank you very much, and goodbye.